Hey crafty friends, and welcome to the Sweet November Stamps YouTube hop. I'm just jumping straight into it today. As you can see, I had Live at the beginning, which is the brand new clear stamp, and I am pairing with some previous stamp sets. This is a beautiful large pumpkin, and then I have a couple of little fun critters from the Drop It Like It's Cold clear stamp set. For my colouring, I am starting with a YR18 here. You can see I'm just flicking out from the top and the bottom, going along the edge, down the side of each edge of the pumpkin, but flicking up into the middle with this colour. I'm now moving on to YR68. I'm just extending those flicks that I have originally put in with the YR18, extending out. I am not worried about how neat it may be. You can always go back over with a second layer if you want to. I'm now coming in with the YR04. A lot lighter, it's dragging out that darker colour that we put in at the start. Next up, I will add a little bit of red. This is the R05. This will just add a nice little red tinge to the top and the bottom. This is just a little bit, just to add some shading. Then finish up with a very light orange, just to fill in any gaps that may have some white space left on it. I have used the YR02. I'll come in with that and fill in all the white that may be left in my colouring of my image. Don't forget that Crafty Purple Frog is your UK stockist for all your Sweet November Stamps needs. Next up, I come in with a 0, just to get rid of some of the colour that I accidentally went outside the lines, shall we say. So a 0 will take that back in. Here we have a G99. I jump that down to a G94. And I finish up with a G21. I come back in with the two darker colours to give some contrast back into the image. Next up, let's colour those little critters. I'm starting with the lightest warm greys for me. This is a W5. And then I'll move on to the W3. Followed by a W1, just to blend it all out. Repeat pretty much the same for the next critter. So we have, this one's just got a slightly darker shade, so we've got a W7 here. That will be followed by a W5. Just blend out that darker colour that you put in, blending out into the middle. We'll move on to the W3 next. And then finish up with a W1. For the eyes, I went a little bit darker. I used a C9 for almost a black. And then we'll come in with the W7 again, finished with a W5 to give some really dark eyes. Okay. Now for the ink blending, I have this beautiful backdrop here. This is the forest leaves from the Heffy Doodle. I'm using carved pumpkin for my orange. I'm coming in and laying down the colour. I don't worry about the neatness of it, because I always come back in with a second layer to neaten it up and add the colour and depth in. So as you can see now, I'm coming in with the second layer, which is deepening up that colour. And you can blend the colours together. In order to get nice blended lines, alternate your brushes. You don't need to add more ink, just pick up and alternate the brushes to blend the colours nicely together. And that has come out really pretty. Next up, you're going to want to get a card base, which I have here, to attach your panel to. Adhere your pumpkin with some adhesive glue. I'm using Gluebert. That will make it flat on your card. I'm using foam tape on a couple of my images to add some depth. So we've got foam tape here on Live, our image. As you can see, I had a little bit of trouble getting the backing tape off. And then I'm going to use glue again on the smallest critter to lay flat. And then we also have foam tape for our other critter here for the left-hand side. For my sentiment from the stamp set today, I've used just double-sided sticky tape on the back of it to be able to adhere to my card. I just love autumn. Here we go. Here we have it. Beautiful Liv with her dancing friends from previous releases on a beautiful backdrop. Thank you for joining.